how we can optimize our bodies, our minds, our spirit.
Randomly, I met my current business partner, at a garage while I was servicing my car. I suffered from arthritis in my knees. I had about 3 knee surgeries. I played contact sports throughout my whole school years. Those two, I would say, is the two main forces that got me to go from studying neuroscience to being a business owner.
Well, what I will say, I know you said it's not about the money, it's about the impact, and that's powerful and so true, but you also had a balance. What does it mean to you to be a conscious leader, revolutionizing your industry?
I got goosebumps when you asked that.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Conscious Leader Podcast, where I interview leaders who are consciously leading in their industry. And today I have a very special guest. His name is Nipuna Perera. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Spot on.
Yes, great. And he is going to teach us how to optimize our health, how we can not only be conscious leaders, like consciously thinking and having that awareness, but how all of ourselves, the things we're putting in our body, can help us be more conscious, more vigilant, more aware, more in clarity, so that we can be of service, of better service to others who need our gifts, skills, talents, and abilities. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you happen to like this episode, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Welcome, Nipuna. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Dosa. Thanks for having me. I'm very grateful to be here and excited. A little bit of nervous because I'm like, I want to give the best information I can. But I know with you in my presence and having faith, I'm going to do my best
Yes.
to give the most value to everybody. So I'm very grateful to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. I'm honored to have you as a guest, and this is so interesting because the last few guests that I've had, like even they are talking about health and wellness, but
Interesting.
I specifically am grateful for you because you come with not only the experience of the product that you're using, but with a different insight into how we can optimize our bodies, our minds, our spirits. So before we get into that, please share with us who you are, who you serve, and how are you positively influencing others?
Oh, wow. That's a very good, loaded question.
Yes.
um, Nipuna Perera here. So I graduated with a neuroscience major, Delisa.
Mhm.
That was my background. And when I went into school, I only resonated with that field because I really love the brain and it being the control center for everything we do in life. Um, and I knew two things. I knew I wanted to be wealthy, without saying, because I didn't want to be struggling
Mhm.
in middle class. That was a huge component to my driving force. But I didn't want to do it without being ethical and morally right. So I thought in medicine, I could serve a lot of people as a neuroscientist. And later on, I could open up my own clinic. So that was the path I was on. And randomly, I met my current business partner, at a garage while I was servicing my car the year that I was graduating school. And yeah, we went into business together. But it wasn't until I really believed that the products that we were working on could really impact someone else that I knew that I had something in my hand that I needed to tell everybody. So for me, I suffered from arthritis
Mhm.
in my knees. I had about 3 knee surgeries. I played contact sports throughout my whole school years. So all the hitting, the getting tackled, the fun stuff,
Yeah.
which I really enjoyed giving it, not receiving it. All the contact. It kind of wore down my body, and I don't. You perhaps can't tell now, but I weighed over 300 pounds when I was in school. So I was
Mm.
very heavy,
Mhm.
and all that pressure in your joints created a lot of other type of conditions. So my business partner introduced me to a vendor. We have our warehouse in Mississauga that brokers different types of supplementation, which is a nutraceutical, which means it's a natural product, not so much of a
Mhm.
drug related product. And I never grew up learning about it, especially when you're going into medicine. Those it's all about diagnosis, medication,
Yeah.
follow up, right? So I lost a lot of weight because I played a lot of contact sports, especially during the end of my school years. Um, but the pain still was there. So I started taking this one supplementation that we started brokering from a big manufacturer in North America. I'm legally not allowed to say the names of these manufacturers, so I will refrain that.
Mhm.
But the product was had an ingredient that was an extraction from the pine bark of a pine tree.
Mm.
So the power is a powdered product called Isotonics with the X at the end. And I started taking it without giving too much of thought. I was like, I needed to feel better, so
Mhm.
let me just try it out myself. And in about a month, I 90% of my pain would go away. So when I went up to my bedroom, the staircase, usually I'm kind of out of breath because the pain is there and I need to sit down for a second. After 4 weeks, I had almost no pain. So I was like, you know what, it works. But let me just start keep taking it because I didn't want the pain to come back, kind of thing. I didn't really think too much. But then 3, 4 months later, when spring came around, my seasonal allergies were completely gone.
Mm.
So fixing one had led to bettering my immune system in general. So that's kind of how my brain went from wait. When you go to a physician, it's just a drug to maybe alleviate symptoms. But here, I took a supplementation to better my body. Hence, it had a lot more impact throughout everything. And I knew from that perspective, I wanted to do more research, get into helping people in general to fix one thing that could be leading to many other problems. So that's how I got into to my business, and now I consult um, in living a long life but healthy. So
Yes.
yeah, because it doesn't matter if you live till 100 if you're in pain and suffering. So I'm here to serve every person to be happier, live better, and healthier through and longer in my life. And it's last thing I wanted to add to that too. There's two components to it. Those it's not just about taking a product; it's about holistic health.
Mhm.
So it's about the mental health, reducing stress. All that goes into everything I consult on. Um, so I set myself apart from a lot of other nutrition or health consultants in that manner by really honing down and giving a great one-to-one approach to all my clientele. So that doesn't mean first 30 minutes we connect, the interaction is done. There is a weekly, monthly, sometimes even a lifelong follow-up that I do to maintain proper health with clientele.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
I hope I touched upon some of the questions. I've
Yes, you
let
did.
you go.
No, you actually took us on a journey to
Okay.
why you're doing what you're doing, which is the whole question. And you did the storytelling, which is really great. You went from being studying neuroscience, the brain, to loving health and wellness. You were overweight in high school. You did the contact sports. As you said, you love giving it but not receiving it, because that is hard on the joints. And a lot of young people, I was there too. I didn't do contact sports, but I did play like volleyball and stuff like that. Or
Oh,
if
that's
you're,
very tough. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And when you're doing a lot of hit exercises, and or heavy impact over longer periods of time, the body is just like, I can't. I'm done. Unless you are doing work to heal the body. And a
Yes.
lot of the times when we're younger, we're not, we don't know, we're not educated. Well, during our time, this generation is a bit different. They have
Yeah.
all the things available to them. We weren't educated to heal the body
Hmm.
while, in a way, abusing the body, right? We didn't know
Yes.
how to recover because we just took, stretching after an activity for granted. It was just like, okay, I'm going to pull my hamstrings, cross my
Yes.
arms, and that was it, right? So you did answer the question. What came from, I need to make lots of money as a neuroscientist, to I want to do it in to and I also want to do it in a morally value way,
Hmm.
to I'm gonna um I'm gonna be an ambassador or representative. I'm gonna coach and consult with others, so that they can optimize their health.
Mm,
So did you like give up one for the other?
great question. I would say there's two to three variables that went
Yeah.
into that, Delissa. The number one I would say is knowing that I always did want to be a business owner, but I thought that I was going to do it in medicine, consulting patients or seeing patients under as an employee, and then starting my own clinic, perhaps in the United States, I was thinking. So to get there, I knew if I followed the steps, I could be there, but that's more of a lifelong pursuit, meaning that if when I do open up my practice, it's not going to be in 2 to 3 years. Especially as in the neuroscience industry, it's because it's so specialized, and you are operating on people's brains. It's not a simple task,
Hmm.
and then you have to be an expert. You have to be the best of the best in order to do that. It's going to be decades later.
Hmm.
So I was prepared for the journey, but I was not looking forward to all the hurdles I had to go through to get there because I knew the end.
Hmm.
So uh, from that to having this personal experience of bettering myself just from on that moment, instead of having to spend decades in school and specializing, gave me the opportunity to say, hey, I could be in that feeling of offering the final product to an individual, of feeling better, having a better life right now, instead of having to wait for decades, was a really alluring fact. But at the same time, I realized, relevant what I do, let's say in medicine, in neuroscience, you do help a lot of patients. But if I could alleviate from having to see a neurosurgeon
Yeah.
or a neuroscientist in the future, because you've taken all the precautions in your life, that would be a better cause.
Hmm.
So that was kind of my switching factor there, as a first step. Those, and the second was I've always been that person that I wasn't the greatest athlete. I wasn't the smartest person in the room, but I knew people who are, and I always modeled them, associated with them, and
Hmm.
learned from them. So when I started my business, I applied the same mechanics because I was in the business owner. I only knew how to read a textbook and answer a test,
Yeah.
or do research.
Yeah.
So when I applied the same philosophy, I went in GTA to people who were successful business owners in my industry. So having that mentorship and connection really allowed me to see a different perspective, which is I could service more people and be in service of others a lot more by switching to be an entrepreneur in general.
Yeah.
So to give you a great example, if I were to start my own clinic, I eventually wanted to hire other doctors. So have a more of an inclusive type of a service for
Hmm.
patients, where to do so, I would not just help a lot more patients, because if I can have five doctors seeing 10 patients each, that's 50 patients I've indirectly helped.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would have given jobs to other physicians.
Hmm.
So I never saw that perspective while I was in school. I think
Yeah.
some people do. I never did.
Right.
So when I got the mentorship, the connections, that clicked to me. So I was like, wait, why don't I now, eliminate the 20 years or whatever I needed to be in
Yeah.
school and specialize,
Right.
where I could make a lot more impact here now, currently, and take some of the income and invest in clinics as an
Hmm.
investor, so that doctors can get paid more.
Yeah.
They'll have more resources, more equipment to help more patients. So be more of the indirect party involved, and be able to be in service. I say that word a lot because I realize at the end of the day, it's not about the money,
Hmm.
it's about the impact.
Yeah.
So if I could be in that position, I've I made it.
Yeah.
So that's those two, I would say, is the two main forces that got me to go from studying neuroscience to being a
Hmm.
business owner.
Well, what I will say, I know you said it's not about the money, it's about the impact, and that's powerful and it's so true. But you also had a balance, right?
Yeah.
So to anyone that's listening and tuning in, and they're thinking, well, it's not about the money. He still has to have shelter and home
Oh,
and all the
yeah.
basic necessities, and
100%.
he has a life as well. And for in order for him to be able to invest in other
Later on, yeah,
clinics and
absolutely.
stuff,
Yeah.
he needs to have that financial resources. And so he
100%.
found that balance. So he utilizes his gifts, talents, skills, abilities, the mentorship and coaching that he received, his acumen, his business acumen, his intelligence acumen, and now he's doing what he's doing. I want to touch on your product, uh, Isotonic,
Hmm.
right?
With the X, yeah,
Yes,
Isotonics.
with the X, and why you feel, and actually, let me ask you this first.
Yeah.
With Isotonic, would you recommend them to any company you're investing in?
Oh, million percent.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, the reason, so for me to give a little bit of background in terms of business wise, so we broker products from vendors in North America,
Yes.
where Isotonics is just one of the brands.
Mm.
So that way I don't manufacture anything. So
Hmm.
I never tell a client that, or anybody I'm consulting, that I have the best product. I say you can get a product from Shoppers Drug Mart here in Canada, or Walmart
Yeah.
from the same vendor. What I do is I go directly to the source
Hmm.
and broker a product that has a higher quality compared to what they're already making,
Hmm.
aka competition,
Right.
but sell it at a cheaper price because we don't have a middleman. Because
Yes.
everything ships from that warehouse all
Hmm.
across Canada and the US.
Right.
So it's direct to consumer. So that way they get the consultation portion from me and also a great quality consumable product.
Right. Hmm.
So the reason that I would recommend supplementation in general, not just nutraceuticals in general, to any business that I would invest or work with, because it's about holistic health.
Hmm.
So just like when we go to a physician and let's say we have I just used something that popped in, we've been talking about, and popped into my head, joint pain.
Yes.
Majority of physicians might say you got to lose weight, which is a
Hmm.
big one, because every pound you lose is like 5 pounds off your joints.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they'll say take an Advil for your pain, which is a symptom reductor.
Hmm.
So when now the patient goes back home, they're thinking, I gotta go on a diet, I gotta exercise,
Hmm.
and I gotta take painkillers.
Hmm.
Those are the three things in majority of the cases. So let's say if I'm working with a physician where I'm able to offer more of a holistic perspective as a B2B, now that physician is not just saying, hey, you got to lose weight and just take a painkiller. They're saying you do have to lose weight for your joint pain, but here are some supplementations that will help you maintain better joints, which is a huge one because we do I don't want to say depreciate, but
Yeah.
we do as we age. Our
Yeah.
bodies do decline in
Hmm.
functionality. That's a normal thing. So we got to supplement for that on top of the nutrition we get with the right food. Plus, what I do for a business that I would partner up with is I offer the service of the consultation part for their patients or clients, where I am able to connect them with a personal trainer or a fitness trainer or
Hmm.
a dietitian or a
Hmm.
nutritionist. So give that holistic perspective. So now two things happen for that business. First, they have a happier patient because they're getting the full service. They're not just taking one piece of the pie and going
Hmm.
home and saying, now what do I got to do next? Where it, the patient will be back for a worse situation because they haven't taken care of the whole issue as a holistic approach.
Hmm.
And the second thing what happens to that business is because now they can offer an in-house product for a patient that might go to Walmart or Shoppers Drug Mart or wherever to get that supplementation. Now I increase the revenue that clinic can earn as well.
Hmm.
So the benefit of that I find is the fact that you get a more of a trusting relationship with patient doctor,
Hmm.
and second, the as from a business perspective, the clinic has more of an ongoing base of income without having to be um, how should I say, if there's no patients walking in, income stops.
Yeah.
Where if the patient goes home with a supplementation, because they run out every 30, 60, 90 days, and it's a maintenance product. Now
Yeah.
the clinic is earning ongoing revenue from it as well. And
Hmm.
at the best part about isotonics in general, Delisa, is that because we do cater for physicians or chiropractors or whomever, when you go to the product page, there's dozens of peer-reviewed articles on the bottom of the page
Yes.
that physicians can take the link and pull up the article that says, "Oh, why do we have vitamin C in this product? What is it for?"
Yeah.
So there's actual control group studies that they can look at to support why we have the ingredients that are in that product,
Hmm.
which is really cool because it's not just a product to say, "Hey, you should take it because you feel
Yeah.
better." The physician can make a scientific decision by looking at it as well. I hope that kind of answers the question. It was a
That
little bit.
definitely it was a thorough answer,
Yeah.
because with when it comes to natural supplements
Yeah.
nowadays, people aren't necessarily trusting it. We know we need it,
Yeah.
and we're getting it from our foods, but then of course the foods are also depleted, unless you're planting it yourself, and even then there's
Yeah.
still all these other factors that go in, um, and then when it comes to some natural supplements, and this is no disrespect to any company out there, like I'm not making supplements, but there's a lot of fillers that we're finding in the
Yes.
capsules, even though they may be sold in health food stores. And
Correct.
so a lot of people are now like, well, why I should be taking these supplements. So
Yeah.
when they go to someone that they trust, for
Hmm.
example, a private clinic with someone who's perhaps doing chiropractic or acupuncture or Bowen
Hmm.
therapy, for example,
Hmm.
Bowen therapy, for example, which is looking at the body from a holistic point of view to like
Hmm.
kind of, and with Bowen therapy, I know a lot about Bowen therapy because my
Yeah.
daughter does that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she has to see someone for that. um, it's really reprogramming the mind,
Yes.
to relax the body and to come back into its natural state.
100%.
So when you are working with these private clinics and they have the supplements that you may have out there for, and a lot of people that are coming in with arthritis, joint pain, back pain, um,
Hmm.
a lot of them brain fog, which
Yes.
can be eliminated with the foods, but then we also need to replenish our system.
Yes,
Hmm.
100%. And you hit the nail on the head, Delissa, because I was going in the more direction of supplementation for clinics. But why isotonics in general? Just give you a two-second plug
Hmm.
there. When we brokered the products, that's why we made it into a powdered product. We took binders, we took fillers out, we took sweeteners out, we
Yeah.
took anything that's not supposed to be there. And the reason that is isotonics is it's a play on word for the scientific word isotonic with a
Hmm.
C, which
Yes.
means the same pressure as your body. So the best example I give is, if you put water into your eye, it kind of stinks a little bit. But if you put the eye drops, it makes it very calm and hydrated
Hmm.
because the eye drops are isotonic,
Hmm.
same as a mother's breast milk to a
Yes.
baby.
Right.
So we made these supplementations isotonic. When you drink it, your body think it's the same. Your body knows it's the same pressure, body fluid pressure.
Yeah.
So over 90 to 95% of it is absorbed within 5 minutes in an empty stomach. So the next highest absorption is if you when your doctor says you got to take vitamin B shots and you
Yes.
get hooked up with IV,
Yes.
that's 100%. But with isotonics B vitamins, you can get 95% of it just by drinking it.
Mm. And that helps with your whole immune system, white blood cells, red blood cells. It's nourishing the organs. And at the same
Mhm.
time, because you're nourishing your cells and they've become alive, you get less free radicals in your
Correct.
system. Free radicals, for people that don't know, is essentially dead cells, right? That's like living in your body. This is why you age faster. So,
Correct.
yeah, when you see those commercials telling you about use this face wash for
Yeah.
to get rid of free radicals, right?
Yeah.
Um, really, you should be taking a supplement. But there's nothing. You got to still wash your face with the
Oh
same
yeah.
stuff, right?
Two-prong approach, inside and outside.
Inside and outside. That's right. That's right. And that in itself really brings the body to become more energized, because as you take the supplements, it's going straight to your gut, which is going straight to your cells. It's binding with your cells, increasing your mitochondria. And for many people that are not aware, and please correct me, Nipuna, with the mitochondria, that is like life itself, right? It's once it starts dying, nobody wants to die. Like you want to look
Yes.
young and fresh and all of these things that these
Yeah.
celebrities are doing, but they're taking Botox shot.
Yeah.
Well, just keep your mitochondria alive
Yes.
and feed it with the right isotonic and the right nutrition, and doing all the
Correct.
things you need. And guess what? You will have that youthful glow that you're looking
Yes.
for. And you'll be like essentially forever young. But
Absolutely. Yeah. You know a lot about health, actually, though. So the mitochondria in itself is the powerhouse for your body.
yeah.
That's what keeps you alive, in a nutshell. So having proper hydration in the body is a huge factor for proper functioning mitochondria. But now, I don't know if you've seen, electrolytes have become a
Yeah.
multi-billion
Yeah.
dollar industry with a B.
Mm-hmm.
So, needless to say, I've into the same. I've started brokering some electrolytes too. So, anyway, the reason it's become so pronounced is nowadays because of the food that we eat,
yeah.
mostly being processed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when we drink water, our body's not getting hydrated because it doesn't have the right micronutrients. Our body
Mm-hmm.
does not. So the reason I bring this up is because mitochondria needs water
Mm-hmm.
to produce energy, ATP, and oxygen at the same time. So having the proper supplementation from that perspective that supports the intake and the output, because when something is producing energy, it does produce waste.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
having a supplementation that helps with that as well is very important. When it comes to consulting, one thing I do want to point out, anybody listening to this podcast, is there's so many things and so much information out there now. If we can get bombarded with a lot of things, it's always so important to get your blood tested, do a blood test, see what you're actually lacking and compensate for it. But at the same time, if you got the funds to do a methylation test, a methylation test tells you, Delisa, I'm not sure if you heard of it, but
No.
a methylation test, like a DNA test,
Oh,
where
okay.
it
Yeah.
tells you if you take, let's say, a B vitamin. No, I don't know why. There's like a B vitamin, lack B vitamin epidemic now. It's like everybody's taking B12, B6
Mm-hmm.
shots. So it's not because you're lacking B vitamins. It's because your body cannot process B vitamins.
Mm.
So just because you take a B vitamin, it's not going to solve it because you're not your body can't code for the enzyme that breaks it down to be absorbed.
Mm.
So when you do those two things together, a blood test and a methylation test, you know, okay, if I'm lacking that enzyme or the DNA for breaking down the B vitamin, I need to take a vitamin that's already been broken down. That's what's going to solve the issue. So that's what I do for clients. It's not just recommendation of a product. It's to really take down and see what's going on, what's wrong.
Yeah.
And sometimes also just going from grain-fed red meat to grass-fed red meat cures 90% of the issue. I kid you not. Like, it's
Mm.
incredible how just doing that simple thing can fix a lot in terms of B vitamin in
Yeah.
itself.
Wow. Well, you are a wealth of wisdom, knowledge, expertise, and of course, experience, because you actually not only use the product, but this has been your life's journey, essentially, from your role as a young child saying, I'm gonna be a gonna be a
Yeah.
neuroscientist, right? So now it moved from the brain to the entire body, and that is incredible. Please share with us, Nipuna, um, what does it mean to you to be a conscious leader, revolutionizing your industry?
Wow, thanks. I got goosebumps when you asked that just now. As I'm always been a big investor of my time, of learning from people who've been there and done that.
Hmm.
So over the years, I've consulting so many clients, working with so many business partnerships. I realized a conscious leader, in specific in my industry, is a person that really values betterment of other people, no matter what the case may be, financial to mental to nutrition to whatever that individual needs help with, working with them to better themselves. That for me is a conscious leader, raising people up, not stepping on people to get somewhere. Um, that's my whole moral code, or my value system in my life. So that's what I aim to do. That's what I make commitment every day. I write my goals down and I put that as a starting point. So that's what it means to me to be a conscious leader in my industry.
Well, good for you, and I thank you, and you're being vigilant, um, in terms of your consciousness as well, right? Getting up and being vigilant every single
Yeah.
day. You're taking the steps necessary to ensure that you are consciously leading, and revolutionizing the industry so you can create the impact and the influence, that the people need in
Yes.
their lives.
Yeah.
It only
Absolutely.
takes one person, right? It only takes one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. And with that, to supplement that statement, I just
Yeah.
wanted to add: once you raise a person up, they become a raving fan or spokesperson for themselves and the people around them,
Hmm.
which is what we need, because one person can't make an impact in the whole world, in the whole
Yeah.
society, to the community, to the world. But people gathered together,
Hmm.
working towards this common goal, will and can.
Absolutely.
So that's leadership in a nutshell.
Of course, of course. Please share with us how we can connect with you. Someone's like, I need to learn more. I wanna cure my arthritis in 30 days,
Yeah,
or my joint pain. So how can they
absolutely.
get in contact with you?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram at my name with the C in the middle, Nipuna C Perera. You can send me a message on my number. I'm allowed to give out my number here, Dillis. I
Oh, I
don't.
think all the stuff will be on there. All the contact information will be on there.
Yeah,
So don't worry. So
perfect.
guys,
Yeah,
check the captions. You will find his Instagram, LinkedIn information, as well as the website. It will be given. And reach out to Nipuna. Don't forget, stay tuned. He's going to be on a B2B live as well, in the coming weeks, where he's going to be sharing more detailed information on how you can best serve and be of
mhm.
service and create greater impact once your body is healed.
Yes,
Yeah. So thank you, Napuna, for being here.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I should thank you, Dilisa, for having me as
Of
well.
course, yes. Well, you are most welcome. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and subscribe button if this episode resonated with you. And I will see you on another episode of the Conscious Leader podcast. Have a great week, everyone.